Welcome to the Wednesday, November 8th, 2023 City Council meeting. Would you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Justin is going to be playing as our city clerk tonight. We had our city clerk is on vacation that she had pre-planned for this week. Would you do a roll call, please?
Osborne.
Here.
Smock. Here. Bergman. Here. Siebel.
I'll take a motion to approve the November 8th, 2023 agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is an opportunity for public discussion. If you would like to speak, please come up to the podium, state your name and your address, please.
Kelly Parker, Marion Avenue. A few weeks ago, my Steve Siebel yard sign was confiscated out of my yard. After talking to a few other neighbors, I discovered I was not the only one who had their Steve Siebel yard sign confiscated. I didn't appreciate that. That was my sign. And why is this a big deal? The First Amendment protects all speech, free speech, political free speech. That includes yard signs. When city staff come onto people's yards and take their personal property, that violates their First Amendment right to free speech. And a lot of citizens consider that theft. I resent whoever took my yard sign, and I would like to request in the future that they just take a few seconds and put it where it needs to go in the yard instead of steal it. It would take them the same amount of time. And even better yet, educate citizens on where the easement begins. If you don't have a sidewalk in your yard, it's not really apparent, where we're allowed to have yard signs and not have yard signs. And I would like to recommend that this council consider a resolution to create an ordinance to fire city employees who steal from our citizens. That's not right. Thank you for listening to me.
Hi, Steve Oranger. I live at 217 Heather Avenue. And when I take my dogs for a walk and we're driving around in our car, we go down trail and there's the place that used to be the old porta potty joint. I mean, that is an eyesore. Mm-hmm. And at one of the meetings that we were here, they said they were gonna address that and it was all taken care of because they were gonna be evicted or something, I don't know just what. Mm-hmm. But it's horrible. They've been having sales down there and everything, and it's just, there's stuff scattered everywhere. And I think for people that might be wanting to move into Evansdale or something and go by and see something like that, why would you live here? Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I have is on East End, that house that burnt, there's been nothing done. It's been that way all summer. And I really think that it's gonna snow on it, and it's just gonna be a big eyesore all winter long. That's just my opinion, so. Anyway, I just was wanting to know if we're anywhere with that. I know you guys were trying.
Yep.
I understand. So, anyway.
Yeah, actually, I would like to address it right now with you. We've been working very diligently with both of those properties. I have had multiple conversations with Fusion Realty regarding 617 East End. Fannie Mae has purchased that property. We have removed the owner from that property because he has been foreclosed upon. Now it's just a matter of time. Fannie Mae is not slow at this process. I expect something to happen before the snow flies.
Oh, okay, that'd be great.
So that's that.
Okay.
And, God bless 515 Trail, because I feel the same way. and kind of go out of my way not to look at it, but I do drive by there frequently. Same situation. The property has been foreclosed upon. I mean, you know, we have squatters there, we have, they've torn everything out of the house. That could even make the house function in a normal family, for any family. So obviously, it's not gonna be, there's no value there. They've made it quite clear they're just gonna make it worse. We did have that property completely cleaned up last fall. Our guys spent, what, 2 days there, Chris? We spent 2 days there cleaning it up for them just to haul everything out. Because if it was in the shed, it wasn't in our ordinance that, you know, we can't touch their personal property, you know.
Well, if they're squatters though, how can that be? You can't do anything with them?
Well, until, you know, they move forward with, there's certain things, there's a whole legal system involving, Christy's shaking her head because she knows.
Sure.
There's a whole legal process involved in the city being to act. Right now, if we were to act and go in there, there'd be no guarantee that we'd ever be reimbursed for that. And it's very expensive, and I think you as a taxpayer, you know, don't want us spending, you know, $3,000-4,000 to take stuff to dumps, to, you know, to have that negative revenue stream in our city. And it's gonna be a process, and I'm checking diligently on, you know, what motion it's in at the moment.
Sure.
So we can get that stuff out of there. If it comes down to it, we have to, we will. Because we're, you know, I've had conversations with the neighbors constantly. We're constantly in communication.
That property's on trail, is in foreclosure. So at this point, the city can't do anything.
Yeah.
The investor's getting a hold of it, and it has to go through the legal process, as Deanne said,
Yeah.
before it can get put even back on the
Yeah.
up for sale. So you might have squatters in there. I don't know what the law is for squatters, but you can't do anything with that property at this point. You've got to let it go through the legal system so that they can serve those
Yeah.
people who owned it lawfully and legally. Unfortunately, it takes like a very long time.
Sure. Well, if they are squatters, they were having a yard sale here a couple weeks ago, you know, there was a big sign out there that said yard sale, so I was thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe these.
And
people
that's,
own this.
that yard sale sign has been there since spring.
It's been there a while, yeah.
And it did foreclose on September 20th, so,
Right.
Now they have to go through that process of,
Yeah.
if they're squatters, they have to kick them out, just
Yeah.
like landlord,
Yeah.
or like tenants. Once
until they
somebody-
say, until they give us the authority that no one is to be on that property, we can't enforce it.
Well, I know your hands are tied, but it's a mess.
But thank you, and Mr. Oranger, we are completely trying.
Okay.
Can I just go back to what Kelly had mentioned?
Absolutely.
Kelly, I just wanted to say, if that did happen, I apologize on behalf of the city, because we shouldn't be taking signs from people's properties. And I would like to see that we take a better hand and go up to the person who lives there and just say, you can't have it here. So I do hope that if that did happen, that maybe going forward, somebody would be more, mature in handling that situation and not take those yard signs, because for one, it does cost people money. I know I spent a lot when I ran. And for another, I mean, it doesn't do anything. It just makes people look more petty. So I'm sorry if that did happen. And hopefully in the future, we won't do that if that did happen. I just don't have proof that it did happen, so I can't say it did, but, so.
The city does a good job of communicating with citizens about other violations, you know, they put a notice on the door, if the grass is too long, or send them a letter. Maybe they could consider doing something like that, give the street department some sticky notes and,
Yeah,
know.
maybe, yeah, that would,
more communication is better than less. I really resent that happened, but I appreciate you apologizing for that. I know you didn't do that.
well, I don't know where to put signs, and I would probably put them right where I'm not supposed to.
There's no sidewalk on my street,
So-
so.
I know I would be one to not know it.
And that is, just so you know, and we will, I liked your suggestion on informing the public. That is Iowa code, and it is not against city policy or state policy for them to be removed when they're in the right-of-way. We do it quite frequently, believe it or not. Advertisers are constantly putting them in the easement, and yes, we are picking them up. So, but I like the education piece.
I see a lot of advertisers right on West Gilbert, and they were not removed. For weeks they've been there, but yet someone drove on my dead-end street and took the time to remove my sign. You know, I didn't appreciate that. They could have just moved it.
I understand,
Thanks for bringing it to the
Yeah.
council.
definitely. Anyone else this evening? Moving on, number 6 is approval of the consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7 is approval of the resolution calendar.
Make the motion to approve the resolution calendar?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Osborne.
Yes.
Smock. Yes. Bergman.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 8 is request from Public Works Director to complete required repairs to the John Deere 310 SJ in the amount of, it actually did come in less than what council approved verbally, $9,977.60 with Murphy Tractor and Equipment. And again, that was verbally approved in advance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 9, request from Chief Dean to authorize the repair of Squad Car 17 in the amount of $1,703.70 with Advanced Automotive. That also was verbally approved. I just didn't have all of them in before the agenda went out.
I'll approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number ordinance 696 this evening is adding a new section authorizing use of the state income set-off program in its first reading. We had been involved in the state program pretty much for ambulance transport, and it had been called DAS. So now it's going to actually the Iowa Department of Revenue and going out of the hands of Iowa management. It's kind of funny because several of the cities in the state of Iowa use this program. It allows the state, after the city turns in for collection, to get ambulance bills or parking citations, or there's several other things that we can collect through state income tax, through lottery winnings, through if you get a scratch-off ticket and win, if you go to the casino and win. So it's a very nice avenue for the city to be able to receive those funds and go after those bad debts. With this new program, it's a little bit different. They're requiring us to actually have code to how we're going to deal with it. You know, because we have to give them the opportunity to have a hearing in front of the council. We have to give them so many days, which we already do. Give them so many days once it's going to, you know, the state's going to take money from their income tax. So we have to pass a new piece of our code to allow them to do that, and then we'll turn this into the city once we're finished adopting it.
So right now, we don't, or, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what's the
Sure.
difference? Like,
It's just going through a different department
Yeah, you
in the
still do the same
state.
thing.
Is
Okay.
We're still doing the same
okay,
thing.
just
Yeah.
making sure I was
Sure.
following it right.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion for it to pass the first reading, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Second.
That'll be a roll call, please, Justin.
Osborne.
Yes.
Smock. Yes. Bergman.
Yes.
Excellent. Mayor and council reports. One thing I wanted that I really noticed yesterday is all the poll workers. I really want to say thank you for your service in our city. And, you know, the classes that you have to go through, the new software, they're continually putting you through. I really commend all of you. I got to watch some of the processes, not at City Hall, but some of the processes yesterday, and I was impressed. I mean, you really have to go through a lot of work to do that, and it takes a special set of volunteers to do that. So thank you for that. I also received a thank you letter addressed to the police department for Officer Womachill. He did have someone else with him, but they commended him personally for his service and how he dealt with the situation. I will get a copy to you all through email. I did, distract obviously the name. It was just a really bad situation with some of the things we're dealing with in today's society, and that's mental health. And they were able to have empathy through that situation. And today, he's in a much better place because of it.
Nice.
So I wanted to commend our police department for doing a great job out on the streets.
Good job.
So thank you.
Can I just tag on to that too?
Absolutely.
Just to kind of bring it full circle and really give credit to the council that we went through. But, sorry, Officer Womachill, I'm going to single you out for just a second. In a lot of the conversations I had with the officers way back when we were dealing with losing officers and not being able to hire and the pay thing came into structure, Officer Womachill was one of the officers that was definitely, and no negative to him because he was thinking about him and his family, about where he wanted to go and where he wanted to keep his career. And he loved it here, but, you got to be able to feed your family. Because of the council's actions, Officer Womachill did decide to stay, obviously, and this is the type of credit to our community apparently now he is delivering. So
Yes.
You want to know why we fought and why it was such a big deal and why we wanted to keep the officers around, here's our example. And I just wanted to call that out because that's a big deal. I know this council put a lot of time and effort into that item, so.
Absolutely. Yes, I totally agree. Any other responses from council? Reports?
It was cold trick-or-treating.
It was brutal trick-or-treating. Even handing out candy was brutal. Yeah.
Nobody comes down to my house on a dead-end street.
You just got to have really good candy
I
bars.
know.
Word gets around.
I know, I tried that one year, but it didn't go very far.
I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, guys.